Guys, I am back with it, and you can see it is buttoned up, and I figured out the reason it was revving so hard, and I learned quite a few things. So this is a 1983 Yamaha Riva, and hopefully this video is going to be the conclusion of fixing it up. It was a very cheap scooter, but unfortunately with the amount of labor that I put into it, it ended up being kind of costly. So let's look over, and I'm going to tell you what exactly I did to this and how much I bought it for and all the amount that I spent on it. So first of all, I got this thing for $600 non-running. And the guy told me that, yeah, it's the carburetor, but I wasn't really sure. It turned out it was the carburetor, but in his case, the vacuum lines were not in right. So I guess he didn't follow the diagram right, but it would have started for him. The carburetor was still dirty in one particular thing. I should have just cleaned one idle speed screw, which is the idle speed screw, not the pilot jet or the main jet. Those were clean. And I removed the engine to service it. It's very easy to remove the engine and service the carburetor that way. This new time, I actually removed the carburetor and I didn't remove the engine. So you can get to the carburetor without removing the engine. So just so you know, don't do it if you don't have to. It was a lot of work to remove the engine, and then you just have two pieces of the bike sitting around. So I bought it for $600 non-running. It's always a gamble when you buy an old bike like this, but it's a Yamaha, and it's a 42-year-old Yamaha Riva, and these things tend to be very good. In case you don't know, the more interesting thing about this is that it's got self-adjusting hydraulic valves. I've never seen that in a scooter. You don't see that in many motorcycles. Even my new Goldwing, it's got valves that you have to adjust. The previous GL 1500 did not have the valve adjustments. It had the same sort of system. So it's a neat thing on this. It's a 180. It's capable of 72 miles per hour. And the only thing that I bought was a petcock, which I didn't use. So that was $18. And then I bought a needle that was bad in the carburetor. It was the float needle, and it was scored. So it was letting gas kind of pass through the carburetor. And that's the only thing that I really bought, I think. And oh yeah, I did install a new battery. So installed a new battery, changed the oil, cleaned the carburetor. I also bought an ultrasonic cleaner to clean the carburetor, but it's not really specific to this thing. So the bike is cold, and I'm going to show you if it starts up. Remember, at first it didn't start out at all, and then the second time I cleaned the carburetor, it started. It started very roughly and then rode perfectly. And then the second time I removed the carburetor, it had a very high idle, and I fixed that. That was my mistake. What happened is the carburetor must not have tightened the pilot jet or the main jet very well, and it fell off in the carburetor. So it was like just sitting there. That was the reason it was running rich. So that was my mistake, but I'm glad I caught it. It was kind of an amazing thing. I'd never seen that before, but you know, I'm not a real mechanic. I'm a hobbyist. So that's my mistake, but I'm glad I caught it. And hopefully this thing will start up. So let's check it out. Cold start, turn on the bike. You have to usually give it a little bit of gas when you're starting. So it starts up. And that's idling. I think I just need to put gas and adjust the idle. It's slower off the line than the 150. And it's very simple. It's simple when it comes to the engine. You were supposed to buy this bike and not having to do anything with the carburetor. It had the auto enricher, there's no choke, It's just simply like one of those bikes that's was meant for maybe like a professional who wanted to commute. I've always been curious about these bikes, and I learned a lot working on this. I'm probably going to put it for sale, but I always regret it because I put so much work into these bikes, and then selling them is like, The bikes that I don't regret selling are the Ducati Diavol. That bike, I just felt like that bike is going to explode on me. It's so powerful, so fun to ride, but I was like pricing things from Ducati. And then I was thinking, I'm not right at that target audience for this bike. We need to have a little bit more money. So that's good. We made it to the gas station. We're going to fill up here. Gas did decrease a little bit, $2.95. Let's go and fill this thing up. Man, it starts right up. Pram or something was off, and the reason it was leaking fuel was the float needle was worn. It had like a little line around it, and that was enough to let gas drop overnight. And now it's like no leaks, nothing. But when you buy a bike like this, it's always, you have to be a little bit more up on maintenance. People forget how good scooters have become. They become like these maintenance-free machines that need very little work. You can ride them. They have like 6,000, maybe 8,000 valve adjustments, but most people never get to 8,000. Now with the influx of immigrants, people riding scooters, I see a lot of scooters with 20,000 miles, 30,000, 40,000, but previously it was just like commuters like me that put a lot of miles on bikes. But most people, when they get bikes, look, this thing is a 40-year-old bike with 6,000 miles, 5,000 when I got it. So it was just a little toy for people, and then they forget about it. But there's nothing like riding an historic bike like this. Hey. That's my father. There it is, guys, the 1983 Yamaha Riva 180. Can't believe all of this time removing the engine, and it works perfectly. Rides smooth, it rides well at top speed. Yeah, kind of an amazing little bike for what you get. You can get these on the marketplace pretty cheap. You're talking about maybe $1,000 to $1,200 in really good shape. This one, of course, I got it non-running, and I think I definitely overpaid a little bit. When you overpay, you're not going to make money. So I'm not really going to make money on this. I'm just going to ride it, and yeah, it would be nice to get $100 profit, but it was so much work. Can you imagine if you buy one of these and then you have to fix it, and it's just so much time. Like if you have to pay somebody to do this, it's thousands of dollars. But yeah, the bike starts up, runs. The only thing that it needs is the blinkers. That lens fell off, but the blinkers themselves are not working. I put a new spark plug in there, and I adjusted the idle speed mixture. And look at this, it's got carpet for the floorboard. Also, the floorboard is almost completely flat, kind of like a Vespa. So this one was more designed to resemble a Vespa than the Contemporary, which was the Elite 150 that looked like it's a futuristic bike. This one's more of a Vespa clone, classic styling. The main thing is this front that's very unique. It's the front fender and the front cowling all built into one. So that's a nice, unique thing. And of course, they did the single-sided front with one fork and then a single-sided rear and also a single-sided suspension coil, and it is on the stiffest setting. I think I still have to adjust my idle just a little bit, but yeah, it's coming along. And another thing I'll say is that the bike, the rear is just, all the weight is there. There's just so much weight, and the way you notice is like if you move it, I just found that the rear just kind of pushes itself out. I've never seen that on a bike before. Every scooter I've had was a little bit more balanced, and I think it's because usually the scooters that I like have a hump in the middle. That's where the gas tank is, so they have a little bit more weight right there, and then they have, of course, the transmission, the motor in the rear, so it's going to be heavier, but they balance it out a little bit more than this one. But it's a very unique feeling bike to ride. There's not quite anything out there like it. So if you are wanting a old historic bike, I would recommend this. It does require a little bit of work with the intricate carburetor, but it works really well. And if you get it in gold, that's, 5 points right there. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the Riva Chronicles. I'll put up a link with any parts that I got that will work on it. And hope to see you later. Hit like, subscribe, and thank you for watching.